In this week's Shiur in Yeshiva's Shari HaTalmud, we covered the Mishnah and a question from the Gemara. The Mishnah said, Ha'isha niknas b'shlosh drachim. Came along the Gemara on Beis Amud Beis in Kiddushin, fourth line down, it says, V'nisna ha'aka ha'ish Kone. Why don't we, instead of saying Ha'isha niknas, which means the woman is acquired, why don't we say that the man acquires? What's the question? The question basically is, why we speak about the woman being acquired as compared to the man? Like it says in the next Perek, it says that Ish Makadesh, it talks about the man. The man is the one doing the acquiring. Usually you say that a man bought something. You don't talk about the thing that was bought. You don't say the book was acquired. You say he bought a book. So here too, you should also be speaking about the man. Now the answer that the Gemara gives is, Ibo Yasema, Itane Kone, Havamina Filabal Korcha. If you do his lashon that the man acquires, you would think he can even do it forcefully, without her agreement. Tana Haisha Niknas. We wanted to say that the woman is acquired in order to do what? In order to tell her that she's shutaf, she's part of the story here. Aisha Niknas Madaisa in Shalom Madaisa Lo. It's only with her agreement. She has to be part of the story. It can't be that the man acquires. Now Tosafos asks on the Gemara, Akasha, L'chor Akasha, Afagav. It appears to be difficult. Why? The Tanya Ish Makadesh, the Mashma Bal Korka. The next Perek starts with Ish Makadesh. It's talking about the man acquiring the woman. You told me, the Gemara seems to be telling me the reason why we switched that to a woman is acquired as compared to a man acquires is to tell you that it cannot be done Bal Korka. But the next Mishnah says Ish Makadesh. He's talking about a man marrying a woman. So there you would think that it could be done Bal Korka. So Tosafos answers, Mishum de Kavar Ashminin, Hacha de Bal Korcha Lo. No, that's the second Mishnah. Once we already know from the first Mishnah that we changed the language, so we already know that it could be done Bal Korcha. Then we switch back to the preferable language. The preferable language is the man acquires the woman. We switch to that. We say the man is Makadesh. He marries the woman. We switch back, since we now know from the Shinui Lashon here, the change in the language over here, which tells us that a man cannot acquire a woman Bal Korcha by force, so we already know it. Therefore, we're not going to have a problem in the next Mishnah. Now, Tosafos has a further difficulty. Why? Because we just came to the conclusion that the reason we switched the language was because to tell you that it can't be Bal Korcha. But Yavama also says Bal Korcha. What does Tosafos say? V'hadikatani Yavama niknas, v'lokatani hayav Kone. So that's problematic. Because you want to tell me that the language of niknas is coming to teach me that it's not Bal Korcha, and you use it in a case where that it can be Bal Korcha. What's the case? The case is where one brother dies without children. The other brother has a mitzvah of yivum, to marry his brother, and to create children for the sake of his brother. Now, if that's done Bal Korcha, which means we're not saying that a person should do such a thing, but if it happened that the brother took his brother's wife by force, he would be yotzi the mitzvah of yivum. He would not, and he would have to give her a get. It would actually be like his wife, and he would have to divorce her with a get, not with chalitza. So you see that the mitzvah works even Bal Korcha. So why use the lashon niknas? That's not the proper language. You're not telling me the proper halacha. You're giving me the wrong information. You're telling me that it doesn't work Bal Korcha when it does work Bal Korcha. So Tosafos answers, the reason why we didn't switch the lashon was we wanted to keep the lashon consistent. We wanted to say, since we said niknas in the reisha, so we wanted to say niknas in the seifa. It's not giving you the proper information. No problem, Tosafos says. Niknas mashma madasa or mashma Bal Korcha. The word niknas can actually mean both. It can mean madasa or it can mean Bal Korcha. So you're not going to have a problem. In the reisha, we wanted to say the word niknas is coming to teach me that you learn that you can't be Bal Korcha. In the seifa, it's not problematic because it can mean either thing. Tosafos answers that the reason we kept the lashon in the Sefer by Yavama of niknas was because of the reisha. We did it for a stylistic reason. We didn't want to change the language. Not only that, but the lishna niknas can mean or madas or Bal Korcha. It can mean both. The problem that we're left with at the end of this Tosafos, if it means both, then it didn't really teach you not Bal Korcha. You're going to have a problem. You didn't really answer your original question. The original question was that you switched to niknas in order to teach you Bal Korcha. No. Now at the conclusion of the Tosafos, it comes out that it means both. That's a little bit problematic. The Rashbah answers this question by saying, Tefasta ma'at tefasta, but tefasta meruba lo tefasta. If you grab a little, you get, but if you grab a lot, you won't be able to get anything. What does he mean by that? The switch in the beginning from Ha'ish Kone to Isha Niknas teaches us that it's not Bal Korcha. How? Just by the fact that it switched. But that doesn't mean that the Lashon Niknas can also mean Bal Korcha. In other words, since the normal Lashon should have been a Ish Kone, and I switched to a Ish Niknas, I see there's a problem here. I see there's a Gilui Milsa here that is coming to teach me something. What is it coming to teach me, the Shinui Lashon? It's coming to teach me that an Isha can't be Kone, Bal Korcha. But that doesn't mean that the Lashon itself, Niknas, means only Bal Korcha. The Lashon can mean both. And the limud is coming not from the word, but actually from the shinui. That's the way the Rashbah will answer up the inconsistency in Tosafos when he says at the end that it means both. The Rashbah actually starts from the other side of the coin. He says from the Lashon Niknas, in Yavama, that Lashon Niknas is actually Bal Korcha. So how could the Gemara be saying that it switched from a Lashon Kone to Niknas to tell me not Bal Korcha? We see from the Sofer of the Mishnah by Yavama that Niknas actually means Bal Korcha. The first answer is like the answer I just gave. The second answer will be, nah, that's not a problem. Because even though it does mean Bal Korcha in the Sofer by Yavama, you're not going to make any mistakes. Why are you making any mistakes? Because we know Yavama could be with Das, without Das, it could be Bal Korcha, it could be Ba'onis. The acquisition of a Yavama is actually much looser than the acquisition of Kiddushin. So even though it means both in Yavama, but Yavama doesn't need Das. The third answer that the Rashbah gives is that it's not shy to say that a Yavam is Kone. The Lashon Kinyan doesn't apply by Yavama. He doesn't really explain himself, but I think this is what he means. It must mean by Yavama there's already Zika. In other words, as soon as that brother dies, there's actually already a relationship between the man and the woman. If that's true, it's not shy to use the Lashon Kone, and that's why I used the Lashon Niknas there. You should have used Lashon Kone by Kiddushin, but we switched it to tell you that Bal Korcha no. But Yavama never was shaykh to Lashon Kinyan, because there already was a Kinyan at the time of the death of the brother. At the end of the Rashbah, he has a different kasha, which other Rishonim ask, which is, what was the Havamina? What was the Havamina to teach me that I could kone a woman Bal Korcha, I can do it forcefully? Why would I think such a thing, that the Mishnah has to come along and switch it the way the Gemara says? That the Mishnah had to switch to the Lashon Niknas and tell me not Bal Korcha. I never have a Havamina that would work Bal Korcha. So according to the Rashbah, actually we learned, as the limud is learned out, Deraisa. Why? How can you learn? You can learn from Mamat Sinu in Kinyan of Mecher. If we force somebody to sell, and the guy says yes, machlokas among the poskim, whether he actually has to say yes, but we hold that the kinyan is a kinyan. Mocher, beforce, is a kinyan. So that's why I would also think that deraisa, that koning a woman could also be forceful. Kamash Milan the Mishnah, and it switches the Lashon to Niknas to tell me that they cannot kone. The rabbis say, no, we do not allow a kinyan deraisa. But why? Because it doesn't fit the matbeya. It doesn't fit the proper form of marriage. But deraisa, there's actually a kinyan. But the rabbis took it away because he did it improperly. So we take away the kinyan. The Ramban, on the other hand, says no, there is no kinyan deraisa. The way the Chasam Sofer learns the Rambam really is that the Kinyan is really only the Rabbanan. But the Havamina would be that there was a Kinyan the Rabbanan. Comes along the Mishnah, Lo Aisha Niknas, to tell you that there is no Kinyan. But either way, we have a Havamina for the Gemara.